So, in a bit of a recap, not too much happened this session. The beginning of some prank wars apparently begun, where people were looking for hobo tieflings. And hobo tieflings were not found, but a fake tiefling was made.
Of
which the disguise was immediately seen through. And from there, Trake and Nibs managed to buy a creature due to their race, specifically.
Right.
70% is basically where it's seen as like a positive or a negative kind of thing.
Yeah.
As to yes or no.
So, they convinced a tiefling genie warlock named Petrus to join you guys and assist in the murder of the devil when you guys go to the city. He is, in fact, a genie of an Afriti. You do not know which Afriti or if that even matters.
No one's asked.
No one's asked, and he does not seem to be interested in providing that information without a question. So you guys purchased him again for his skin color, and
To be the brains.
to be the brains,
Which he doesn't have.
which he does not really have. You bought the wrong person. Damn. However, probably the funniest line from last session was definitely "Little lad bought a penis."
A little lad bought a penis.
Which is where Petrus called Trake Little Lad because he said Trake was a stupid name, and Trake said, "Well, your name is Penith." Because
Your name is stupid.
Petrus is a stupid name.
Yep.
And I don't remember who it was. I don't know if it was Nate. I think Nate might have said,
You said it first.
or Logan did. One of you two did.
I don't know. It might.
Either way, it was Little Lad Bought a Penis, which is quite arguably, out of context, one of the funniest frickin' lines
I think Logan said it.
ever said in a D&D session.
I'm surprised, but it doesn't surprise me.
And Logan actually has one of my other favorite quotes from D&D, which is, "Let's go die before we kill ourselves."
Yeah.
Arguably one of my favorite
We were making
quotes.
explosives, weren't we?
You guys were making explosives before going and fighting Kelazar.
Let's just go die.
And we had done 3 sessions, literally only of planning, of leading up to this. And then you were like, "Guys, let's just go die before we kill ourselves." Anyway, so after this little beginning of a prank war, where Nari even went to the point of hiring a male Goliath whore, and then placing him naked on the bed of Trake's in his room, upon which this person then fell asleep in Trake's bed.
Yep.
Jake's a little ticked off about that.
And Trake's not too happy about that. Either way, from there, you guys made final preparations, including giving money to Jack, the Gold Dragonborn owner of the Whale's Call, who was going to get a note along with that money to his drow compadre in Dwinder to begin preparing Nibs's alter ego so that he can actually do stuff in there. Among other plannings, you guys purchased the companionship of Petrus. Trying to remember what else happened before you guys went to the City of Brass.
Feasts, hero.
Yes, Hero's Feast. You guys paid for a Hero's Feast, upon which you guys, along with those from the Consortio, consumed.
Yeah.
You have something to say, Nate?
No.
Okay, you just went real quick while looking at me.
He was memory.
No. He was remembering.
I was partaking in the memberries.
Nice. And from there, you guys prepared and then cast the spell, that being a mixture of plane shift and teleport through the scroll given to you by the Queering Council, of which Nari casts, getting you guys to the Golden Gate. Beautifully there. And upon walking up to the city, you guys had to pay a couple bribes for some stuff, specifically to get Nari into the city. as however she was brought out of the city at a younger age has quite significantly messed with her capability to get back in. It seems she got out completely illegally. However, she was a child at the time. Which is quite impressive. Which is quite impressive, because the city of Brass is not an easy place to get in or out. Either way, after paying 1,250 gold in bribes, you guys finally got into the city, where, from that point, Mikhail led you guys to Advar's party place, in which you guys met probably the most frat boy of a 2,500-year-old wizard ever known to man. And from there, you guys began your planning for what you guys are actually going to do here, upon which it was established that you guys were going to, after some good luck rolls, the fact that you guys were leveling up, including taking a short rest and all this other stuff, I was going to let Trake and Warden
Scry some stuff, right?
will prepare one spell. In which case, you guys were telling Trake to prepare Scry and Warden to prepare Divination.
Are we all level 10 now?
We are all level 10 now, or at least we should be. Speaking of, Thomas, are you there?
He's muted.
I know that he's muted. I'm just trying to see if he...
Sorry, I'm here.
No problem. Just wanted to make sure that you're there and here and everything.
Yeah, and with my level up to level 10, I also am able to have scrying now on top of divination.
Okay.
But I also have divine intervention.
Yep, Divine Intervention's a fun one. Alright. So.
No idea what I took.
You don't remember what level you took?
I don't.
I think you went 4 in Fighter and got a feat.
Very possibly. Or at ASI. That's not the right word.
ASI.
ASI.
Alrighty. So, with that, you guys
No feats.
then decided you were going to head to the Street of Stela, which is in the pretty much dead center of the city, in between the Char, the Foundry, and the Furnace, to kind of scout out the Embassy of the Hells and that whole area, see if you guys could get any more information or glean anything new from that. And from there, maybe take a trip to the Arches, see what you can find out, figure out, whatever, possibly spend some time in the Foundry, dependent upon where you guys decide you want to go. So, as of now, you guys are still in the Plume, in the tavern. So you guys take an hour to take your short rest, level up, move your stuff around, prepare new spells, and all of that. And from there, you guys begin heading through the Char. So, being up in the Plume, you guys have to go directly south, pretty much the exact same way that you came in, until the point where you curl around to the Phoenix Gate. The Phoenix Gate is a gate quite legitimately made from that of a phoenix. The center of its body is just this half circle that rises nearly 100 feet at its beak, with a pair of golden wings sprawling out, with just a brazier at its top making the flames in that of a bird's head. And walking through there, you guys go through the Char up till the point where you reach pretty much the central road of the entire city, that being the Street of Stela. As you see, the Street of Stela goes all the way from the harbor down here, all the way up through the city market, to the Gate of the Fallen, and into the Furnace. So it quite legitimately is Main Street of this city. So, coming around that point, you guys then begin to head north towards the Plaza of the Hunters, and just before it, this road is about 200 or so feet wide. At this point, you guys are almost being pushed around on this road. It is so densely packed. Think of Times Square. in New York. Think of just how busy that is constantly. When the signal says, hey, you're good to cross the street, there's 1,000 people crossing the street.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that without cars. Like, everyone is on the streets. There are thousands upon thousands of people within line of sight of you guys. And as you continue to make your way, I would like you guys to decide, are you trying to stay fairly inconscript?
I mean, we stick out.
I think that's a good idea.
We're tourists, aren't we?
You do stick out fairly. It's
Get one of those like wide-brimmed
Yeah.
hats with the foam finger and the big sunglasses that are super goofy, like the
Tourist kind of thing.
tourists going to Disneyland for the first time.
Do we have
We
anything
don't want
like?
to stick out that
Is there
much.
anything like that?
Like a tourist shop.
Yes and no. Can we get the the Disney adult version in
I want the
City of
Mickey
Rest?
Mouse ears, or I'm going home.
Okay, well, you're not getting those. Sorry to say.
White face with sunscreen.
Okay. So, more than not, what I'm trying to say is, are you guys specifically trying to avoid attention? Like, if you see a pair of illuminated, do you kind of wait off to the side? Hello?
Who's saying what?
That's
noise.
It
Jade's.
wasn't me, my bad.
That was Jade's background. Like, if you guys were to see a group of illuminated, would you slip off to the side?
We paid up, right?
Yeah, we
We're good. Your paperwork's good.
yeah.
Alright.
So, if we tried to hide from people in authority, we would stick out more if spotted.
Yeah.
I'd say we paid our bribes. We're good to go.
Yeah, that's alright.
Okay.
As long as we're not breaking any laws. There's not. I mean, no one's looking for us. No one's expecting anything.
I'll say we probably are most definitely not looking to stand out
Right.
more, but we're not necessarily looking to slink into the shadows.
Okay.
Hide.
So,
per se.
I'll just say everybody go ahead and just roll me a performance. This isn't going to be a very high DC. It's more to see
Son of a bitch, I'm toast.
if you guys can copy kind of...
Oh, hang on.
Alright, guys.
Oh, damn, I looked at the wrong thing.
Ooh,
I have 15 for me.
2.
I don't have a very good one, but I'll roll.
you got.
15.
What did you say, Thomas?
I was right.
Okay, I thought you said.
Thomas got 2.
Thomas got 2.
Claire got 2.
I got an 8.
I got
Okay.
15.
Nari's still nervous, guys.
Nibs has got 15.
Hey, Thomas,
17.
you can just roll online with your character and that'll tell us everything.
He did. It popped up.
He did?
I'm
Okay,
cool as
there
a
it is.
cucumber, my
It
own.
didn't show up for me until just now. Okay, so 15, 2. What do you get?
17.
17.
I'm cool as a cucumber.
Oh, he's so cool. He's so cool, you could say he's hot.
Steamy hot.
Steamy.
Your
Yeah,
bird still.
he's still a bird.
He's a sweating bird.
He's a sweating bird.
Sweating.
So as you guys continue down this road, you're definitely turning some heads. This is not necessarily the common place for you to find even those on vacation. This is the areas in between the largest market and then the living areas of the highest of nobility and then the upper class. So it's not necessarily common for you to see humanoids in this area, mostly elementals. Either way, so as you guys continue to walk down the road, you guys get to an open area where the road kind of spirals out, and you're almost curious as to why, up until the point that you guys see, almost appearing from nowhere, a massive building dead ahead, literally on the street, that the street parts ways to go around. This building, probably somewhere around 300 to 400 feet tall, is made entirely from this blackish, like blood-stained iron, just wrought all the way up, and it's jagged at points on the outside. It's not a linearly built. I said it eventually.
You got
Built.
this.
Shut up.
Linearly. right? I don't even know.
Linearly built
Linearly.
building. It is jagged and is pushed out in places. This just looks wrong. And it pushes out about 50 feet of this just barren land in between that and 25-foot tall steel barred walls. And by barred, I mean like bars on the wall. It's not just a flat plate of wall.
So
Like a prison.
A riot fence, yeah. For some reason, I forgot what that was called when I was writing these notes. So, with one massive gate on the front that the road leads straight into, and then some other smaller gates around the sides. Around this place is when you begin to start seeing the devilish infestation of this city square. You see dozens of imps, chain devils, ice mephits, barbed devils, bearded devils, all kinds of devils just scattered around this square. At each of the major gates, you guys see 2 Afriti illuminated and 2 bearded devils at each of those gates, seemingly guarding entry and exit. While it is weird, it is very finely built. Like, it looks solid, and it is a terrifying building. Around the walls of the building itself are spikes with skeletal bodies hanging from it. You would assume this to be the Embassy of the Hells.
Nibs is gonna look around at it and go, this place really reminds me of a little town I found called Georgia once.
My word.
My brother lives in Georgia.
I know. Devil went down to Georgia, baby.
Ouch.
Oh my lord.
Hey,
Amazing.
George's now.
it wasn't just some.
Sublime.
It was a double.
It was a double. But let's be more specific. Atlanta, okay? Not Georgia as a whole.
Devil went down to Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Atlanta's bad. Atlanta's really bad.
Just flying over Atlanta and landing there was a nightmare.
Bro, it's scary.
Just the miles and miles and miles. It was like, and you can all be underwater.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In 50 years, it might all be underwater.
20 minutes.
Facts. Either way. So, as you guys step up to this building, I'd like you guys to make perception checks.
Perception.
See, I'm
Dang it. 13.
I perceive everything.
18.
I
Just
perceive
not right
your
now.
mom.
No.
A6
the-
actually
Alright,
perceives
A6
everything.
got it.
Literally
A6
everything.
I was gonna say with the
he can see
feast,
the air.
Does it do something for these stats? I can't remember now.
No, it does not. It is only wisdom
that's
saving
not that
throws.
bad with my roll. 14.
The individuals.
17,
So 17,
25.
25, 13,
14.
14, and Nari.
18.
It's a good
18.
thing I got a plus 10.
So as you guys kind of begin, you know, I'll roll for Petrus as well. He's definitely not better at this than any of you guys. Yeah, he doesn't see shit.
And the
So, as you guys begin to circle around the building, there are a lot of smaller gates. And when I say this building, it stretches pretty far in terms of how deep it goes. So it's probably about a quarter mile, like, around the building before you get to the other side's major gate. You guys kind of wrap around and begin to discuss. There are multiple smaller gates set around it, or just small entrances to the area as a whole, each of which guarded by at least one Afriti or bearded devil, at sometimes two, one of each, that is. So if it was thinking of breaking into this place, it would be not necessarily a difficult fight, but it would be a fight just to get in, and that's before entering the embassy that houses all of the walls. This place is not impenetrable, but it would be very, very difficult to enter into, especially due to the fact that it is set in one of the most populated areas of the city and one of the most densely traveled areas on one of the most densely traveled streets, and you can really only do it during the day if you wished to break in, at which point you would immediately be seen attempting to do so. If you did it at night, you would be risking breaking curfew. At which point you already know that if one of you breaks curfew, that being Nari, the strongest of indictments would immediately be enacted. As I said, it's about a 25-foot wall. Trying to see if there's anything else. How long do you guys spend around this place?
Well, we can always set things up so we don't have to spend much more time.
I also feel like we'd probably, like, walk all the way around.
Yeah. Which would take some
Like,
time.
Probably do one full big loop.
Just kind of observing it all.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything specifically you guys are interested in knowing about this place or this street?
I think the biggest thing
Did we or did we not bring Twig?
I would say Twig is not here.
Twig is not here.
He would have
That's
burned
a good
up.
idea.
he's hanging out with Dog.
Sweet.
Let's see
Dog's,
which one of them is dead when you guys get back.
Yeah.
Dog's
They're
trying to
Testing
impress.
each other's venom on each other.
Please.
Yo,
That's
man,
a weird
give me
kind of
that.
intimacy.
That's a weird kind of like gay animal porno that I did not want to have in my mind.
No,
one
it
said
was.
they were the same gender.
Yeah.
Twig's male.
Is he?
Twig is male,
Are
correct?
they?
Um,
I
I
think
don't
Twig could be a
know.
female
Should he be
snake.
male? I never thought about it.
Twig is A.
I honestly have
Twig
never
is
thought about
A.
it.
Asexual.
He's
yeah.
a snake.
No,
She's
not
a snake.
asexual.
I don't know. What
What's the
sounds
word?
better?
Non-binary.
High or low?
Non-binary snake.
Non-binary.
Let's go.
High or low?
Hi.
Okay. She's female.
You don't get to choose.
It was
Alright, sweet.
Yeah. Oh.
You didn't say beforehand. You decided afterwards. You said
No, I
Twig
agree.
is female.
He said she, and I was like, okay, high or low.
yeah.
So,
Either way, Dog is a male. Dog is a male.
you sure he's not?
I introduced Dog to the campaign, therefore I can decide what gender it is.
What
Okay.
if
It is male.
What if it decides to change later?
Then I will murder it.
Rip Dog.
And we will have to decide what other wyvern is in his campaign.
Well, no, you will open a portal and suck it through to it. And anyway.
Jinx shows up. Bye bye. Somehow it gets to Wendell. Okay,
It's
anyway.
not dog. Sorry.
Yeah. That was funny.
So is scrying something that people can sense?
You don't want to scry while walking around. You need to be set up for
Yeah,
that.
so it takes 10 minutes to cast is the big thing. And
Right.
I will say that since all of this worked around in an awkward way, that you guys either pre-purchased or borrowed a way of casting it because it requires some material components, quite a bit's worth actually. It does not consume said material components in the casting though, if memory serves me correctly.
I need a focus.
Worth 1,000 gold.
Yes. Such as a crystal ball, a silver mirror, or a font filled with holy water. Yeah, we don't have that, but okay.
You got a ring on that cost a bunch of money.
That's true, but it's not a crystal ball, a silver
Actually,
mirror,
real quick,
or a holy water.
But you can focus on it, right?
I could.
No, I'm looking at technicality of things, okay? Okay, so Trake does not. However,
It is invaluable to him, worth way more than 1,000 gold.
by technicality, the Staff of Defense can be used as a arcane focus and is worth more than 1,000 gold. But that is Warden's, and Warden also picked up Scrying.
Okay.
Sorry, buddy.
So Warden has that capability, and like I said, since this was decided late, I'm not going to kind of like force that on you. However, Patris also has something that he could give you that would allow you to cast through it that is worth more than 1,000 gold.
Okay, sick.
Does a
What is
bag
it?
of platinum count as 1,000 gold? Item worth it. It's like this bag has got a.
No,
10...
it's got to be a focus. It's an arcane. I'm taking it. I am
by
taking.
the way, Zach,
What did you say?
I said, by the way, while we're walking around, am I able to pick up, since we were picking up some spell components and things like that, am I able to pick up a gold reliquary for my Summon Celestial?
Go ahead and roll me luck.
Damn. Does a 22 work?
No, it doesn't work at all.
Nice.
Sure, if you have the gold, you are capable of picking up said reliquary.
Alright, 500 gold out the window.
Yep. Does Summon
You guys
Celestial
like me later.
consume that? It does not. Sick. So, you pick that up along your way. I would say you guys get it in the plume before you make your way to the Street of Stela. Either way, is there any other big things you guys want to look at or look into?
Question.
Yep.
The more I think about it, the more unspecific something worth 1,000 gold is. What is your ruling on something being worth 1,000 gold?
It costs 1,000 gold.
Okay, but what if I think that it's worth 1,000 gold?
Base
I
market.
value it at 1,000 gold.
So here's the thing. You're valuing, as DM, my valuing is what goes.
So
You're
not
valuing.
the Ferengi's value of it.
Yeah, not the Fringies.
Why don't we,
Not the Kelly
why don't
Blue
we just
Book.
both cast through
Not
my
the
staff?
Yeah, you could both cast
That's
through
true.
the
Yeah.
staff, or like I said, Patris has a wand worth more than 1,000 gold that he could.
Like,
Yeah, Kelly White
right
wand.
now I am literally using the staff as a walking stick.
Yeah.
You could come over and like sit on his shoulder and put your hand on it.
She's happy at night. I bet
I
she's happy
mean,
at night.
I'm literally walking around with it with both arms on the staff. Both of my right arms.
Oh my!
Okay, what was said? I only
Moving on,
kind of missed
moving
it.
on. It took me a minute. I
Y'all
thought he.
said Kelly Blue Book, she said Kelly White Wand, and I said, damn, I bet she's happy at night.
My lord.
Clarity's sake, is Octavia
Sorry,
share my
anyway.
resistances and immunities, or is she fucked?
So
if I
she's
try
a
to bring her
familiar.
up? Yeah.
I mean, technically, she's fucked. However, I am willing to not kill your bird as long as you're still on the city of Brass in certain areas.
Okay.
Thomas
Cool.
cast Scry, correct?
Well, he can't right now.
Not yet. It takes 10 minutes to cast. We're not gonna cast it out in the open.
We're just gonna set up a ritual of scrying literally in front of the guards standing at the gate.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Nothing.
And also,
I want to see what the
We're
Genie
sightseeing.
boy thinks of that.
okay, so as you guys proceed, I would like you to roll me another perception check. As you guys have circled around and begin heading north.
On a toaster.
That isn't that one, my friends. I perceive
14.
5.
Yeah. Come on, I have a +4. Why would you do this to me?
11.
15.
Roll a 10.
Damn.
11 was 11
We
and
noticed
14.
nothing. Nothing exists.
We were rather disturbed with the innuendos of the staff jokes,
Okay.
and we're like, you know.
Did you guys tell Zach what?
So,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as you guys are stepping out, Nori, what did you roll again?
A 5.
5. And then you guys both rolled
14.
14 and 11. So, funnily enough, we're gonna roll for Petrus real quick.
For
For penis. Oh my god, penis is rolling terrible. I can't call him penis. If I just title one of my NPCs as Penis every time I talk about him, I can't take him seriously.
No.
Zach,
And he's supposed to be your
you
brain.
have to.
Just
Yeah.
call him Penguin.
A penis has a brain.
Yes, and it's the dumb one.
I mean, it does have a
I was
head.
gonna say it was the little one, but
Yes, Jade.
Exactly, that's the point.
It does have a head, like Jade said. So funnily enough,
but it does.
Drake,
feel-
as you guys circle back around to the northeast side of the facility,
Whistles.
you hear the fluttering of wings. And you're short, so you can't really see through the crowd. And so you kind of like tap Warden to get on his shoulders. And by the way, even on Warden's shoulders, you are about head height with the rest of the Afriti in the city. The average height of the Afriti is somewhere in between 10 and 12 feet, with tall ones scaling upwards of 20 to 25.
Yeah, so who's the short one?
What'd you say?
I said Warden's the short one in the crowd.
Yeah, Warden is the shortest of the...
I am an ant.
Yeah, you are literally an ant. And so Warden almost holds you up into the air as you kind of peek over, and coming out of a small entrance of the northeastern gate is a creature that... a description that you recognize as robed in a purple and black and red robe. You see a pair of blue wings set down just outside the gate.
Jade doesn't remember this description.
Does anybody else? Jade just says
what?
there's something with blue wings coming out of the embassy.
Well, I don't know if Drake does.
Nari
but Jade
would
certainly knows
remember
it's
him
Drake
very
over it.
vividly. I would say, especially after my recent
Did Drake
hallucination.
roll a history?
The guy.
Drake can roll a history.
He tells the party that
I say with a 10 you recognize it, because 10's the average DC.
Okay. What does Drake recognize?
Drake,
Does that help?
Drake recognizes that the creature you are here to kill is a blue Abishai.
Is this a blue Abishai?
He doesn't know. He just knows it's got blue wings. And not many devils have blue wings.
because he's
Nibs.
I would
piloted.
shout that down.
You say someone blue with wings, and Nibs, who's kind of been just
Yeah.
mostly just walking next to Nari, I'm gonna just kind of climb up on your shoulders, jump up, stand on your head, and start looking around.
You still can't see, so you have to hop over to Warden.
So I'm like, and then I'm just, I'm just. He's already up on Warden's shoulders,
Yeah.
so he's
I'm not
kind of.
noticing this though.
No, I'm just kind of. I'm looking around. It's like blue wings. I'm looking to see if it's a dragon.
Okay, go ahead and roll me another perception check.
Since he pointed it out, does Warden look in that direction too?
I will say Warden and Nari can roll another perception check.
Well, that's a 13. No, that's 12.
That's a
Okay,
20.
Warden.
27, Warden.
21.
21. So both Warden and Nari, Warden with your near perfect memory now, and Nari with an intense recognition, you kind of turn over and see through breaks of the crowd a familiar cloak. And this snout that peeks out nearly 6 inches past his hood is easy to recognize.
Blue leader, this is gold leader. Stay on target.
I would like you to roll me a wisdom saving throw real quick.
Okay.
Who's rolling a saving throw?
Claire, if I can get out my d20. I doubt I passed. Wisdom saving throw is a solid 7.
As she starts to
Claire did not
freak
pass.
out, can
So-
Nibs try to assist in some way?
Nari, as she steps over and peers over, you are standing right beside Warden. And Warden, after you look over and you see this person who seems to be heading northeast towards that of the arches at this point, through the Plaza of the Hunters, you see, or you sense Nari just go completely still and begin to breathe heavy. Very, very heavy. You do not lose
I
any
say
sanity
through
or
the
anything,
walkie-talkie.
but you are hyperventilating.
Yeah.
You are in shock.
I would say
I say through the walkie-talkie, we seem to have found our target, and I put my hand on Nari's, my other free hand, since one is holding up Trig, the other two are holding a staff.
there are.
There's two.
My other free hand I put on Nari's shoulder and say, "Remain calm, friend." And I guess do we continue walking moving with the crowd?
I guess Nibs is on your other shoulder. And
Yes.
he's going. Well, I crawled up on Denari's other shoulder, a second ago. So I'm going to start talking, just under my voice quietly, where you can hear me. Start going through the breathing technique, focusing on the spark on that.
And I
inward.
feel like I would also, or I feel like Nari would start like clenching her fist so hard that her nails are probably like making like indentations, or she's even bleeding in one hand. I would say a little bit as she's trying to go through this breathing technique and calm down.
As this happens, Warden, with your size still peering through the crowds, you kind of continue to look. As he steps out of and off of the street of Stela, there is a pair of Afriti, a pair of illuminated, that appearingly are kind of standing in way, seemingly harassing a group of slaves over to the side. And as this creature, who you're continuing to keep your eyes on, walks into this scenario, they both turn to him and seem to be, obviously, looking down on him, because this creature is maybe 5.5 feet tall. At tallest, would be your estimate. It is a midget in comparison to the Afriti around it. They
Wait,
look...
which creature? The creature they're harassing?
No.
Or-
Devil.
The devil. The devil is
Oh.
tiny. The devil is 5'6" at tallest. It is a small creature. And he steps off the street of Stela, and these two Afriti seem to turn to him aggressively. And you see him wave a hand, and both of the Afriti fall to their knees.
Oh shit, that's who we're dealing with.
How tall is he?
The devil?
Yeah.
Like 5 to 5.5 feet tall.
Am I close enough to listen on what's happening?
What did you say? Say again?
He's trying to
Am I close enough to in?
No, you're still fairly far away. If you wanted to move closer, you could, especially with your knowledge now having prepared the Scry spell. Your chances of success continue to go up the more, I'll say, intimate of knowledge you have of the creature. If you even had something that the creature owned, like a piece of his clothes, a lock of hair, or something like that, your chances would go up astronomically.
You think
Warden's going to join the group, and we're going to continue walk, try to pass by this interaction. I want to be able to listen to him. I want to be able to hear his voice, see if any is belonging or part of his belonging falls under the ground. And as we walk by, over the rocky talk, notion to party that so that they all lay eyes on him.
Okay.
He's wearing a long cape, is he not?
He's wearing not a long cloak, like it doesn't drag. It's a modest
Okay.
cloak, but it is very unique.
Are there a lot of passerbyers that are walking rather closely to this person, or are they kind of making way for him due to his status?
This street that shoots off from the street of Stela is by far and away not as big a street, but it is still fairly large, and the passerbys were more than not avoiding the illuminated and the aggravated situation that was occurring before the devil entered into that area. But at this point, yes, people are still kind of avoiding it. So as you guys kind of make your way through the crowds...
So it would not be wise to walk closer to him.
Not super close. I mean, you guys are in the middle of this square. like spotting him 200 feet away, moving out of the square onto another street. So as you guys begin to move over, by the time it takes you to get over that direction, it did not seem to be a quick interaction between him and the Afriti. And he seems to, at that point, like as you guys are coming out of the major crowd onto this side street, begin to continue moving along, and the Afriti are still on the ground. What do you guys do from there?
Is there a creature that is native, or a beast, mind you, that is native to the plane of fire that I've seen around so far?
I want to say yes, but I do not know for certain many beasts of the plane of fire.
I looked up some. There seemed to be something called a fire bat, but I do not see it on D&D Beyond. That could just be my account.
Yeah. I would say having animals in the street is not very common. I'll say you've seen one or two, but not like pets by any means. Just creatures flying above the city streets, just as a crow or, you know, a pigeon would.
Okay. Would I turn into one of those? I'm gonna have to. Well, I'm just asking for now. I'm gonna ask someone if I should in a sec.
I'll say sure. You could turn yourself into a fire bat if you wished.
Fire bat, the common fire bat. I'll ask that to Warden. Like, Warden, do you want me to get
Quasites are
Oh,
devils.
sorry. Warden,
And
do
they
you need to
appear
get a
as
closer
bats.
look? I can
And
turn
they
into a bat
appear as
and fly
bats,
over
but
there.
they are devils. He cannot turn into a devil.
I
They're not
nod
beasts.
to yes, yeah, if he wishes. Since he is also using the scrying spell. Well, will be using the scrying spell.
Okay. So, do you guys continue to follow?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Trake, what are your plans?
I'm a bat now.
Trake
I'm
is a
fire
bat. Trake kind of goes into a little side alley, turns into a bat, and
Honestly,
as
it explains a lot about you.
yeah, honestly it does. So what
I'm
is your
gonna
goal
fly
as a bat?
around.
He's a little
What?
bat.
Sorry.
What is your goal as a bat?
So,
To be a bat.
he was wanting to like spy on him a little bit, so I'm gonna get close to that doorway. What I'm gonna do
He
is,
just wants to get close to him.
because that's a incredible hearing, right? So I'm gonna be like a ways away and still be able to hear him quite fine. So I'm assuming the building is pretty big. After
Okay,
flying around for
I
about
think you
10
are not
seconds-
understanding the scenario we are in. We are on a road, not by a building anymore.
My bad.
Landed by a building, but we are not at a building at the moment.
No, you guys are on a
Gotcha.
road. Now, it's not like there aren't buildings nearby, but
Right.
I'm just trying to make sure you understand the set piece. So imagine a large city square with a massive building in the middle. Now, on the outskirts, there are a whole bunch of roads. You are on one of those said roads, which is pretty much a back alley, heading northeast towards the arches.
Right, and we saw our blue-winged devil friend land on the doorstep of the building, right?
Of the outer walls of the embassy. He exited the embassy, walked through the square, and at this point has left the city square and is on the road.
The devil has left the building.
Gotcha. I thought that he was going into the building.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah.
Well, in that case, I'm gonna just try to fly over him and behind him.
Okay. Your
Is
goal
it-
being?
He wants to listen.
I'm gonna listen to him,
Okay.
since I can
Well-
be closer than anyone else.
As he continues to walk along, he does not speak to anyone. He seems to have a goal in mind. He is just walking to where he wants to walk. He was merely stopping to speak with the Afriti just because they were in his way.
Got it. Well, guess what? You guys now have a beacon in the sky. You know exactly where he's going, and you can see him at all times.
Beautiful, beautiful.
How's Nari doing?
I think Nari's trying to focus on the reason that she's here, and she's a little more grounded now.
Okay, so as you guys continue along these city streets, you find yourselves going over a bridge that has just a river of lava below it. This bridge is about 100 feet wide as you guys are crossing over the Naranji Canal, stepping from the Plaza of the Hunters to an area in between the Foundry and the Arches. At that point, you begin to you continue to follow Kethrak north into the slave market. At which point, you guys see him kind of awkwardly and almost sheepishly continue into the market, up to the point where he looks around a little bit and kind of begins walking he takes a right and continues on. A couple things you guys will notice about him. While he is short, he is also hunched. Like, his back is naturally curved very, very heavily. He walks with a pretty heavy limp on his left leg, requiring a staff to walk with him, it appears. However, he does not seem to tire from the walk, as you guys have walked about 1.5 miles at this point, following him. Interesting. So, as he kind of steps off to the side, you see him step up to a dark-skinned figure with bright blue eyes, who seems to be one of the first shops moving into the slave market. You see there is a large tent behind him, and right beside him, sitting in a chair set with chains, is a child. You'd probably say somewhere in between 10 and 13. It's a young boy who's set over to the side with bright white hair, and seems to have like these blue set tattoos down his skin. He is wearing nothing but a rag over his nether regions. And as Kethrak kind of walks up, he begins to speak with the purveyor of this shop. Let me pull up some of this stuff. As he approaches this person, he kind of cracks his back and almost straightens himself a little bit. Above the tent, you guys see a sign that says "The Radiant Children." And upon this, those close enough or wanting to listen in can go ahead and roll perception. This is still a fairly popularized area, populated area of the city. That's the word. Therefore, you have to be closer than maybe you'd want to be to hear.
Is this a perception?
Yes. Okay.
Mine would be an 18. I have a +4.
Yeah, you're the closest, so you have the best chance.
45.
22.
Warden has not rolled under a 15 for his perceptions, other than that one.
22.
22. So, pretty much
Everybody hears.
everybody.
Nibs missed.
Nibs
Oh,
missed
Nibs.
it. Nibs doesn't care as much.
I'm just riding with you.
Yeah. So, straightening his back and throwing back his hood, you hear the voice of Kethrak speak out. Well, is the new stock in? The man who's appearing behind the counter, a very, very tall, dark figure. Yes, returning from the outskirts of Mount Celeste, we have acquired some others. Some other people beat you to the shop today, however, we still have 3 or 4 on stock, general pricing. Kethrak continues. Well, I have particular purveyors this evening that are quite interested in your stock. Would you happen to have them on hand to show before I purchase? Make sure the goods are clean and well kept. And the man kind of nods and leads him into the tent, upon which, Trake, you're the only one that hears, but since you're much closer, the best way to put it is you hear the whimpering of children as an honestly very scary appearing creature, that is Kethrak, steps into the tent. You hear minor discussions about price and how old they are. From what you can tell, it seems that the 3 still available today would be an 8-year-old boy, a 12-year-old boy, and then a 15-year-old girl. And you also glean that these are Azamar, from the outskirts of Mount Celeste, aka the bastards of angels that they leave in their wake, that are, you would guess, generally abandoned by their parents, and then either left in orphanages and are very easy to pick up for the right coin. And Kethrak seems to have interest in taking these into the embassy later in the day. They talk price, they figure out, it ends up costing him somewhere around 5,000 gold, and he arranges for a pickup later in the day. At which point, Kethrak kind of, again into his almost old man facade, kind of hunches his back more and limps out, hands the gold to the man behind the counter, and then from there makes his adieus and continues walking farther into the arches.
Am I able to follow him into the arches, or is that going to be difficult?
You guys are capable of falling into the arches. You will be the only humanoids that are not slaves there. He's
a bear.
The biggest thing.
We will stand out, essentially.
You will definitely stand out. So if you guys are wanting to continue following inconspicuously, aka trying to dodge in alleys whenever he's turning around, or just try to stay out of his line of sight as much as possible, I would like you guys to roll a stealth check. If that is not what you guys are wishing to do and you're just balls to the walls following him, that's fine too. I would just like to know.
Drake is going to rest on a post and look at Warden, looking back and forth between them and waiting for a nod, yes or no.
Nari, are you gonna...
I would say Nari's will start with.
Stealth is a better option, but more of a nonchalance than a active hiding.
Well, I will let you guys
What is
either
in
roll
the
performance
arches?
or stealth.
Like, what's...
The arches is the slave market,
Gotcha.
and you guys are on its outskirts right now as he is heading deeper in.
Okay.
This, I will also say, you guys can all tell, seems to be a shop that he frequents regularly.
Nari, what's your stealth?
She's a high dex character, so at least +4 or 5.
Now, would we be doing stealth from him or stealth from everyone?
You guys would be doing stealth specifically from him, or you
Yeah.
could attempt to do another performance check of just blending in with the crowd. However, at this point, you've been following him for a while. So...
I almost feel like...
might be better to have fewer people follow.
I almost feel like we should split up and maybe try to circle around and be in a later area, or
Split the party.
like stay in buddies, but
So, as he starts to head into the arches, Nibs is sitting on your shoulder, Nari. Can I do an insight to see how she'll respond to walking into the slave quarter, the slave section at all? Like,
You can go ahead and roll insight, and then Claire can
Have
tell
I-
you.
Zach, have I noticed,
natural
I've been
fucking
trying to pay attention to see if any of his
Plus
own belongings,
9%.
shed anything or fall to the ground.
Go ahead and roll
say
another.
it's-
Go ahead and roll another
I didn't bring
perception.
my dice.
Even if it's just like a tassel
I was gonna say,
or
you need
a
there's
piece of
plenty of
thread
dice
or a
around
piece of
here. Here's
Yeah.
a D20.
I'm sorry, everyone else is talking. I can't hear shit. Can everyone?
Okay. Well, I guess I don't notice anything.
He rolled 9.
He rolled 9. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, you do not notice anything.
Thank you. There's a great dice.
It is the tough part of having people online, but if someone there is trying to talk You need to be quiet over here.
21.
21 for
Inside.
insight. Claire?
I'd say Nari almost like
1 second.
Which?
being that she was a slave most of her life. It's almost like this is familiar to her in a way that's comforting in some way. Another, like realizing that she's not one of them. She's very disturbed by the children, by walking by the children. And she's kind of stunned and you probably would catch her staring at the boy who's in chains out front. But for the most part, she has her wits about her, I guess.
So
She's
walking
really trying
in
to
there
keep
and
it
seeing this stuff probably won't trigger a panic attack.
No.
There's an aspect of comfort and
In that this is familiar.
that was mainly what Nibs was carrying on.
Yes.
I would say specifically, the Arches is not a place that you didn't spend time. Like, you spent plenty of time in the Arches.
Yes.
As someone who was kind of used as a runner of information, of notes and such,
Yeah.
you definitely spent time running into the Arches.
Yeah.
So, it's not an uncommon place for you. It's changed a lot, for sure. 20 years does that to a district.
Yeah.
But there is a comfortability and familiarity of it. So
some
Trake,
people are rolling for some things.
I'm
Are you wanting me to roll?
so some was insight. Warden was rolling perception to see if Ketharak dropped anything at any point. If you want to roll a perception, you can.
I would really like to do that.
Okay.
With my knowledge being that I've been to the Arches before, would I know of like a path that would kind of like go around where Ketharak's at, but could still be visible instead of like walking right behind him at a distance? Could I like walk a row or two over and still be able to see, or be able to kind of?
So to walk a row or two over would put a couple blocks in between you guys. Even one row would obviously put one block away, and you would only be seeing him once every block when sections in the road break.
Gotcha.
So if he was moving slower or moving faster or took a turn, it would be difficult for you to tell if you stood side street.
Well, I'm just thinking that like some of us should split up.
Yeah.
So that we don't have everybody following him right behind him.
Over the Rocky Talkie, I ask our rogue, how feasible would it be for you to grab even a morsel of his belongings on him, like a piece of thread that's off of his cloak or something like that?
For hair.
Trying to ask the rogue if he can pull it off.
Potentially.
So you have vanished without a trace.
Nori's gonna suggest
Does
not
anyone-
getting near him.
Does anyone have a pass without trace?
I did.
That would be very useful. You have a Rocky Talkie now, don't you?
I think you would have to come out of your
I'm
bat
at-
form. I don't think you could
Hey,
cast...
Zach, I rolled an 18 on perception.
I will say that as he is stepping away from the Radiant Children shop, there is a coin that is dropped behind him as he sets his bag of a large amount of money down. As he steps away, one from his coin purse slips out.
From his coin purse, so he has owned it, so it would be a little familiar to him, but it probably wouldn't be overall extremely big bonus.
It would
to
be
helping
it would
us.
be a minor bonus. What that would
pick it up
do
regardless.
that would be
I mean, you're
the
bad.
that would be the equivalent of a -2 to his save.
Yes, I'll go ahead and I'll pick up the coin and drop it above
Technically a
Morgan so he can
-4.
catch it.
I apologize. A -4.
Okay.
You guys, since you
I-
know his likeness, you would have a natural -2.
Do you guys want Nibs to
So-
go make a distraction so you can get assistance on the snag.
Potentially, yeah.
Since the rogue asked for Pass Without a Trace, and we know that our bard has it, Warden says a trick. Bard.
That's not a bard.
He's not a bard.
He's a druid.
God damn it. Sorry.
My charisma's 0.
I keep forgetting that. I keep forgetting which one was the bard and which one was the druid. That makes sense. He just wild shaped. Druid, I need you to cast Pass Without a Trace on our rogue.
I did a coin. Do we still need to do that?
So
Would it help having a tassel?
if you got a speck of his body in some regard, whether that be a hair, a nail, just literally any part of his physical body, the
Does
bonus.
he have hair?
Yes, he does have hair. Not tons on tons. It would be difficult to get to. But his hood is off at this point.
Why don't I just fly down as a bag?
Or is he
He is
Grab his hair. That's
At
terrible.
this point, you have a possession, which is possession or garment, so you have that modifier.
So we would need something physical out of him.
Yeah, you would need a physical part of his body to get the bigger bonus, which is a -10 to his saving throw.
I mean, it's definitely worth a -10 to his saving throw, but
And we're doing this for Scry?
Yes.
yes.
So do you motion me to come down and get out of my metaphor?
I don't think that the bonus outweighs the danger in this situation.
But with Pat Trace, I can't remember the spell description.
So,
Plus
Would it be
10.
2 point
getting up
for
there won't be as much an issue. It'll be a sleight of hand check to attempt to remove something, which Pass Without Trace does not help.
You have advantage.
But if he knows something,
I have
at least
just plus
Pass
12.
Without a Trace, he won't
There
be.
would be-
Advantage is only for being silent. Which, in a busy street, silence doesn't really...
So,
The stealth isn't what I'm concerned about. I can easily stealth up there.
if he struck someone, do you think we could get some blood or some skin after he's like got him to smack someone in the face or something?
Quite
Rogue,
possibly. Maybe a broken nail or something stuck in the target.
Rogue, what if you were to, with Pass Without a Trace, push somebody into him, and then in that
Nari would
commotion-
say no.
Nab.
If Nari knew you were gonna do that, Nari would fight that really hard. Unless it was like an illuminated or a slave trade.
But it would.
If it was a
cause
slaver, that'd be
pushing-
fine. But if it was like just a bystander or a slave, you like
But if we were to push someone into him, it would cause enough of commotion that you could sleight of hand more successfully.
so then pick someone at like the front of the tent trying to get people like to come by their slaves or however that works. However that's
Well, for that matter, you could do the old bump into you, steal your stuff trick by morphing into an Afridi or something like that.
Nari is no. Nari thinks that everybody needs to stay the fuck away as much as possible.
We understand, Nari. Please shut up.
Okay, I guess we should ask the question again. Do we think we will be okay?
I
with
would
the bonus that
actually.
we have?
Is Drake still a bat?
Drake is still a badass.
I'm still a bad.
He can't talk.
Oh, he can't talk.
I didn't say that in real life. I'm sorry.
No,
I
he
wish-
didn't say it in the game. He's being facetious.
Okay, cool.
The
'Cause
thing
Nari
is-
was about to act.
So the thing is, the two people who think we should do this are not the two that are going to be involved in doing it. So, if
That's why I'm
Nate
asking.
does not
Do
think
you
it's
think
cool,
we're good enough with what we have, or do you think we should try to cause a commotion and take that risk?
Here's the thing. As a firebat, I have some attacks that I can do, and I
Why
just
would you
looked.
attack him?
I'm just saying. It's actually
I do not associate with this bat anymore.
Nari's almost ready to let you attack him so that you will just die. So that she can
So-
be rid
so
of your stupidity.
I was just listening to this wonderful interview on Critical Role, and they said, and I quote, "The only thing you regret is not doing something. If it goes bad, who cares? It's fun." So, we don't know you're associated. They won't know you're associated with us. You're a bat.
I'm a bat.
Do something stupid and go get killed or have some
And
good
go
luck.
get
Still
killed.
looking at Warden is the thing.
So here's what I'll say coming into this. Mikhail, Trake, and Warden, you guys can roll me this is a weird check. We'll just go ahead and call it a history check. Or better yet, an arcana.
I can roll
It's intelligence checks in either way.
I got
Yeah,
it.
Nari,
Of course,
Tibbs,
what else?
Nibs, and I are just kind of.
Oh, Warden with the nat 1, that's tough.
A6, what the heck? That's like
sorry.
you heard that one.
I know, but
Not this session.
You had one job.
it's I have a +8 to work on.
Double.
It doesn't really mean much.
Double that one.
Okay, Trake, please tell me you rolled higher. You rolled a 12?
Oh, I rolled like a 12 or 13. 12, right?
Yeah, 12.
Yeah, you rolled a 12.
Okay,
Well,
so
Oh my god.
for some reason the bat is the one who thinks of this.
Oh yeah.
So Trake, with your knowledge of now preparing the scrying spell, among other things, you know that this creature is supposed to be heavily magically in tune. This blue abishai, Kethrak, is supposed to be powerful in terms of magic.
Right.
He will likely have a very large bonus to the saving throw Scry would force him to make.
Right.
Your chances of success will skyrocket if you had more bonuses. You already have a fairly large bonus of a -4 to his roll,
Right.
but he will still have a considerate bonus even with that -4.
Right. Okay.
That's why that is actually I'd like to explain. I was thinking of that, which is why I was like, this is worth it because I know he's a magical dude. I guess I didn't make that clear earlier on, but that's why I'm like, we should definitely get up something of his person.
So Nibs is gonna look over at the bat and do an insight. I got 17. So
Matt's just looking at him and looking back at the coin.
here's the deal. If I feel like Trek is going to make the move for him, I will go ahead and do not on him, but I will do the fog, the
Fog cloud.
fog cloud, because it goes in
Yeah,
that
it's 20-foot radius.
in a 20-foot radius on him. As a bat, that would give him a little bit of a bonus to possibly doing something.
Okay.
If he goes for it, I'm gonna go, oh fuck, and cast that, because I got 120 feet to do it, so I'm staying heck as far away as I can. But
Okay.
if he's gonna make that move, I'll do it.
I am gonna fly down to you guys. I want Nate to come with me.
Idea.
R.I.P. Nate.
All right, and I'm flying right at him.
At Nate?
Right at our demon dude.
No. Wait.
Devil.
Are you coming back down to Nate first?
I came back down to Nate.
I'm
like
gonna
this in
put
my head.
bless on on you,
Okay.
on him, and on Warden.
Who you pass? What do you? What?
Bless. So an extra 1d4.
Okay. Should I have anything that I
You
can
rolling it or
cast?
do I?
I can roll it. Well, I mean, they get to add it to each roll. So
Right.
it's not like it's a flat bonus.
It's just easier that way.
Yeah. Well, it's also a higher chance
Yeah.
of just getting a 1 and
Yeah.
rolling it that way.
Yep.
So, you come down to Trake. Trake comes down to Mikhail and does...
Like a motion with his head and then starts to fly off into the fog to the devil.
The fog has not been cast. The fog is waiting for you to make an aggressive move towards the devil.
Real quick, Nate, are you doing? Do you have something
So,
before you go?
fog is now.
You're going for something.
Nate,
you're going
okay,
for
as you come
something
down,
big.
Nate's gonna
I'm just gonna grab the bat.
when it flew down to him.
Yeah.
You're gonna grab the bat.
I'm gonna grab the
Alright,
bat and
on
I'm going to
fire.
look it straight in the face. And then just throw it back up in the sky. And the bat's going to hear in its stupid little head, hold on a second.
Okay, what is Mikhail trying to do?
Octavia is going to go and just take care of all of this for us.
You're going to summon her.
Well, he said that I had her.
Yeah, she is out and about.
Okay.
So,
So we'll cast fog on Octavia.
and she is going to go up and pluck a hair as she flies by.
Okay.
And if things go sideways, she's going to just vanish.
Okay. So as she swings down through, I would like Octavia to make a dexterity check.
Can I do?
You
the
can do your fog.
Does that assist or hinder her?
That I will say it will assist in her being able to get away. It will not hinder her.
And I hold Firebolt
No,
on
no,
That I did.
no! I don't want to die because you. It's a big difference. Okay, I know what I said earlier, but that was when you would get killed.
I don't want to die.
You do realize you're using fire in a place where everyone is resistant to fire.
It's a distraction.
It's fire.
Oh,
Everyone,
okay.
everything's on fire.
Dexterity check.
Everything is on fire.
I have one more option on the bless. Can she have the bless? since there was
17.
three?
Yeah, she can have the bless.
So
So
add a d4.
I'll add 3 to that roll.
So dirty 20.
Dirty 20. So as this raven swings down through and grabs, like, he mostly has hair like right at the back of his neck. And so it swings down and just pokes out a small hair and just flies away. And all of a sudden this fog appears as soon as the bird touches him. And you guys obviously do not see him at that point.
As soon as the fog goes off, I gesture to the party that we're going to move with the crowd and start walking back.
Well,
Well-
Nari and I were already way far. We were 120 feet or more from this area, and we were
I'm
as
going to
casual.
I'm going to gesture to the flaming bat and to Mikhail, like we're gonna just start walking away, like walking with the crowd.
Okay, so you guys begin walking away with the crowd. I will say you guys are already pretty far away, and it's fog. It's not like some of these people could even see much. So you guys begin walking away. How quickly do you just let the fog run its whole time, or do you want to end it early?
Let it run its time, man. Make it look natural.
It's a fog.
It's fog in a hot place. I would assume that it would steam away really fast.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do not
Well, it
want
is
to hold.
magical.
I do not want to hold this because sometimes people can track concentration spells back to the person casting them. So,
Okay, so would you say 2-3 rounds before you kind of just let it go and dissipate?
sure.
Okay, so after a short period of time, you let it dissipate. By that time, everyone has kind of left the area.
Oh yeah.
Is anyone still wanting to follow him?
Can I see him? I backed off, but can I see him now?
Yeah,
Whoa.
as a bat, the bat could continue to follow fairly easily.
Yeah, you do your thing.
Alright. I'll go ahead and keep following him because I want to know where he's going.
Okay, is anybody else going to continue following?
Negative.
That's a
I
negative
In fact,
Cal are
Nari is
walking
gonna like
back.
start going the opposite direction.
Yeah, I think Nari and I want to go back to the party house.
Yeah. Nari's been close enough to Kethrak for one day.
Because we don't need... We can scry from there.
Yeah. It'll take you guys time to get back there.
So, did Octavia get what we needed?
Yes.
Okay.
Octavia brings you a small little clutch of hair.
Okay.
To fair, that's
And
good.
I would probably step down like just a small alleyway somewhere. Is there anywhere that I could kind of step down?
Yeah, there are definitely alleys that
Okay.
you could kind of step to the side on.
I would do that when she comes back. She'd probably be trying to weave in through buildings and
Yeah.
stuff. Just to avoid all of that.
So,
And
which
then,
is, I was just going to say, just as we're walking away, I'm going to put Long Strider on you, so
You go faster.
I like it. I like it.
you get an extra 10 feet per turn.
Okay.
Just in case.
So, Drake is going to follow him up to the point where he enters whatever building he's going to. So, Drake, you continue to follow him, and I will denote that at this point, after leaving the fog, Ketharak, seemingly almost undisturbed, walks out the front side of the fog, continues going, and maybe 2 minutes later comes to the entrance of what appears to be like a coffee shop, upon which he enters in, but before he does, he turns back, peers around for a moment, until the point where he locks eyes with this little fiery bat on a roof nearby.
Why did you do this?
And he just smiles. He just turns to you and smiles. And kind of waves.
I'm
Before
gonna look
entering.
around, point to my chest, and then point that direction, and then fly off.
You literally look at your chest, put...
It's like me.
The
Okay.
bird,
Fly off.
as you begin to fly off, you hear in your mind, just when we were about to have some fun. I hope to see you later. It was quite fun.
Yeah, he's gonna dash. That's 80 feet a second. 80 feet a turn at least. Yeah.
Oh, you're no fun.
And somebody wanted to punch him.
And so with that,
That's
he begins to go in. Do you stick around that area, or do you just go back immediately?
I'm gonna go for it 1 sec. Would it be better to stick around even if he knows I'm there? It doesn't really matter. I know where
We
he is.
pulled
and we
his
can strike him
freaking
later.
hair out. He's going to increase. So here's one thing. So he has defenses, but knowing he has other defenses. So there's active and then really defensive stuff. This is gonna get really bad. Oh well.
I'm gonna roll a wisdom check. I rolled a 17. Zach, based on this, I don't actually know if it would be a better idea to fly away for a bit and then turn around and come back and just stake out the place.
It depends.
Or if
It
would be
depends on
smarter to
if.
go back.
Depends on if you want to gather more information about who he is meeting here, or if you want to go back and be a second person casting Scry on him.
Can I roll insight to see what kind of bonus we're likely to get from both the hair and the gold coin?
You only gain the
Here,
bonus
yeah,
of
plus-
1, and it will be a
we
negative
get-
10 to his roll.
Okay, that's pretty darn good. Could I still see like what the odds would be overall? Because he is a spellcaster, and based on this level of power he's just presented to me, how
You have no
hard
clue.
it will be.
You know he's
Yeah,
very
just straight
powerful.
up.
You have no clue. You cannot. I personally see interacting with a creature and seeing what they are capable of doing as a much better sense of, I followed the dude for a while and I heard him talk to me in my head. That's not knowing what someone can do.
Right.
You have absolutely no clue how powerful this creature is in terms of mental defenses.
need to know who he's talking to, really. I'll stick around for just a few minutes, see if there's anything interesting, and then I will leave.
Okay. Over the next few minutes, firstly, you see that, kind of peering in, Kethrak immediately goes into a back room, it appears. There's the smell of, like, boiling sand and roasting coffee as he steps into the back room, and over the next few minutes, you see 4 different Afriti join him. The first of which is a very, very small Afriti. By small, I mean normal size for Afriti, but compared to the other ones that follow after, this one is small.
Yeah.
This one is, he is wearing a symbol with a sideways cross with a wreath of flame set around it. If you... Actually, I apologize. That is the wrong one wearing the symbol. He is strapped in leather and seems to be carrying a book under his shoulder. The second one that comes in is bearing that sigil, and he is pretty large. You would guess is probably somewhere more like 17 to 18 feet tall. I would like you to roll either a religion or a history check.
Oh boy, tall with
Both
3
+1.
eyes.
I'll roll religion.
Okay.
3.
3?
Yeah.
You have no clue what that symbol means.
Dang it.
So,
Gosh.
directly after that, you
It's worth
see
a shot.
another Afriti. Again, a little bit bigger than average, maybe 13, 14 feet tall, except wrapped in chains. Like, legitimately wrapped in chains. Not like he's bonded down. He just literally is wearing chains as his clothes.
Got that drip.
He got that drip, and it's weird, but no one seems to pay mind to him. And lastly, entering in is an Afriti that is tall with 5 L's. Tagging on to what Nate just made a joke on. This man is probably sitting somewhere between 20 and 23 feet tall, and he dwarfs the bodyguard standing beside him.
So, any of these we could kill for the...
These are Afriti.
These are 3D. Yeah.
These are elementals, not devils.
Not devil.
And either way, Petrus said he would help you kill a devil, not an Afriti.
Afriti.
Specifically, no Afriti. Afriti are not devils.
Right.
And he steps in, and he has an air about him. And he also has 2 bodyguards, who are also fairly large Afriti. One who seems to have a bow that is about 10 feet tall, if it were to stand end to end, with a sheath of arrows that are about 6 feet long, along with a second bodyguard who has a massive flaming greatsword on his back. And they just stand outside the building as this one legitimately casts a spell to reduce his size before entering the shop.
Beans.
And those are the
Right,
ones
so
who
I-
step in, seemingly going into that back room.
Okay, so I probably cannot hear them in that back room without either going in there, finding a window, which there probably isn't. Those are the only 2, right?
Yeah, it would be very difficult to do so, possibly even impossible.
Dun, dun.
Sounds good. Then that's a good time to leave. I will go ahead and return.
Okay, so you rush back, and the rest of you, have you guys gone back to Advar's?
Does he rush back to the location, or does he take a flying route or something?
Well, he's gonna fly probably, because it'll be quicker.
No, I
Yeah,
was
I can
meaning,
go over
like, is he
everything
going to
back,
go
like-
directly to us, or is he going to, in case he was followed or being tracked of some kind?
That is up to Trake, however, I do not believe Trake would fly evasive maneuvers to avoid being followed.
Survival is a +4, and I rolled a 17, so whatever that means to you, Zach.
I would say that means that you are able to find your way back to Advar's fairly easily and quickly.
Okay.
The rest of you guys had begun walking earlier, and so the question is, do you guys want to go all the way back to Advar's before attempting to scry, or are you guys trying to find a place closer?
Is it I don't know how. It takes 10 minutes, and you got to do weird stuff.
There is weird stuff, and it'll probably take you about 30 or so minutes to get back to Advar's, and that's
What time is it?
At this point, it is probably sometime around 11 to noon.
So still fairly early in the day, actually.
Well, you guys teleported here at 9. So you guys went to Advar's, took you 15 minutes to go to Advar's. Well, no, it'd be more like 12 to 1, because you guys spent an hour short resting there.
Okay.
So we'll say it's about 12:30. So, what is your choice?
For the ride. Just here for the ride.
I would say that it is safety and security wise would probably be ideal to go back.
No. Trek doesn't have a way to tell us that they're in the middle of a meeting, and if we listened in now, we could get information. Correct?
I'm gonna make it back before I shift back to Trick, and then I can use the setting
So
stone
that
to
is,
communicate.
That is correct. However, with the bird dashing and double speeding and using action and everything, he will be merely a couple minutes to catch up with you guys. And you guys would still be on the road on your way back before that happened. So I will say about 2 or 3 minutes past the time Trake leaves the little coffee shop, he catches up with you guys and shifts to Trake, at which point Trake, you can take that away into his RP.
Okay, so they got this guy who's really tall, like One World Trade Center tall, and then we got another guy with a Christ analogy on his chest plate, okay, and then we got another one, he's like a 3D, and these guys are all meeting with our devil dude, okay, and I can't really spy on them, they're in like a back room, but that's where he's at right now, and also he knows me. He's super freaking powerful and looked me right in the eye and waved. He's a little creepy. The hell.
I'd like you to roll a history, Nari. Okay. Does that influence the decision of the party, whether you guys are going to spend the 30 minutes going to Advar's or try and find a tavern or room that you can rent?
You said history?
Yes. At advantage. 12. When he made mention of an Afriti World Trade Center tall, you remember that your father was exceptionally tall.
Well,
You're not certain whether he is the person, but to you it would make sense. They are a part of the Ring of Smoldering Chains.
This is probably the ring meeting.
This is probably the ring meeting. You kind of linking everything together. You don't know the names of the others, but...
Does the dude...
I rolled a 17 for insight to see if I could recognize similarities between this guy's facial structure and Nari's.
You never really got a great look at his face, and even then, their facial structures are not very similar. Nari does take more after her mother.
Okay.
Except for the obvious, like, orange.
Except for the obvious of the literal red skin. Like, fiery red skin.
Does, when that's stated, does the guy we hired respond in any method? Or do I need to insight?
At that point, Petrus kind of speaks up. Well, if we were able to find a room a little bit closer, that would certainly give us better insight. If you're looking to try and single out this devil, or possibly figure out more information by speaking to one of the other members of this meeting, finding out where they're going could be of benefit, and we will only be able to do that through listening in on the meeting.
Does he know of any place closer?
Yeah, sure. There's a little shop right around the corner from here. It's just inside the Char. I mean, the Char is the main marketplace of the city. There are a couple places. I'd say
Rent by the half hour?
more like by 2 hours. People are a little more long-winded here in the city. I mean, it is a brothel, what I'm speaking of, but we could rent a room with ease.
I'm sure you could, Penis.
I don't know if I'm gonna let her in the room if we're renting it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
wouldn't want
squinting
to
at
be in
Nari
the
this
same room
entire
as
time.
you in a brothel. I'll get my own room, thanks.
I was not
Alright.
paid to be here and
wait.
patronized.
Does Warden and the Bat and the dude decide to go do this?
Or do we walk all the way back and lose time?
I'm good with doing this.
Petrus is going to begin leading you guys to the brothel.
I think this is our best option for getting more intel.
Might as well have some fun before we die.
So he kind of leads around, and
Nari's gonna like mutter that under her breath.
so
Dibs is just gonna kind of pat you on the head.
it takes you guys about 2 minutes to get to the brothel, upon which payment is pretty quick. Petrus takes care of that since he is the one who knows the owner of the establishment, and you guys are led to an empty room upon which there is space for both Trake and Warden to begin casting Scry. So
Did we spend the 2 spell slots simultaneously,
You
or do
get-
you one at a time?
here's the thing.
They take 10 minutes.
It takes 10 minutes to cast. So if it takes 10 minutes to cast and it fails, then you're going to need to take another 10 minutes.
So have one start 9
I
minutes.
think we should
1 minute after the other.
simultaneously.
Yes.
What's wrong with 20 minutes?
Well, you don't know how long the meeting's going to take. And at this point, you are going to be getting into the meeting and into the conversation 15 minutes late.
Yeah, y'all might want to get on that. Both of you.
Okay. Simultaneous,
yeah.
let's go.
Simultaneously, we're both holding on as well as to
Oh,
pair.
it's 7.
Okay.
And we'll cast.
Can we do anything to assist them?
Sadly.
We
I
already
still
have a
have
system.
You guys have already done
Not
everything
prepare.
you can do to
Well,
assist
I
them.
still have your 1d4 bonus blessed, do I not?
Bless is
I don't know
gone
if
at
that
this
helps.
point. It only lasts a minute. We are going to be 15 minutes into the future by that time.
Would they
Okay.
have taken any slaves with them, like accompanied them to the meetings,
No.
or would have left them
No,
nearby?
Just the guards.
just the guards.
They just leave their slaves in the back in
Actually,
a slave
where are we at again?
Playroom.
Where are you guys at again?
Yeah.
You guys are in a
They're
brothel
dropping their
in the
kids
Char.
off at
In the chart.
the daycare. And they
And
go and do the grown-up stuff.
hang on.
You're probably somewhere around where you began in the western side of the Street
Where
of
they could
Stala.
chain them up in the chariot.
No, I'm trying to remember where
Put 'em in
my father's house is.
Your father's house is in the
Was it in
foundry.
the foundry? Okay. Well,
I would
How
say
long
it's
would it take
closer
her-
to here.
So as soon as they start this Scry, how long would it take if Nari and maybe Nibs with her long stride were to book it to that house?
To that house,
Yeah.
you guys would probably be about 5 to 10 minutes away.
Nari doesn't want to go.
yes, I wanna.
So Nibs and Nari, while they start doing it, we're gonna take off, and he's gonna say, "Stay focused," and I'll look at you and say, "Let Nari know if you see him coming our way," as she heads out. Because I don't
Okay.
have.
Where are you all going?
On an errand.
Okay, I'm gonna look at it. I'm just here for the ride. As we head out the door.
We'll be back.
I think she wants her own room.
No.
Fair.
Nari's gonna be like,
Have fun!
As you're leaving.
Yeah, because I mean,
Find an ogre.
Okay,
Just
so
for you.
Trake and Warden, you guys continue to cast, and you roll nothing with the casting of Scry.
Okay. Since I
Did you
have
see
met the
that?
target first
oh
hand,
my gosh.
Is that
His face the whole time, 6 minutes. So critical roll, they forgot.
Yeah. I know, that was so freaking fun.
Wait, what?
To his
So,
saving
there is
throw.
a clip in Critical Role's third campaign that occurred recently where
They're gonna cast
they were doing a
Scry.
simul scry, where two people were scrying at the same time. And for like 2.5 minutes, they're talking about, oh, what do we roll? What do we add to this?
What can we do to bonuses and all
And
this stuff?
so one of the players and Matt just stone face say nothing for this 2.5 minutes.
Because they just keep
As
going and going and
They're
going.
just going and going and going. Let's roll at the same time. They roll. And they're like, that was a 16. That was a 6. What do we add to that? And he's like,
One of them rolled a nat 20 and they were super stoked.
oh, yes,
for it.
yeah. One of them rolled a nat 20 and the other one rolled kind of mid. So they're so stoked, they're so happy. What do we add to that, Matt? And he's like, you don't roll for Scry.
It actually made it into their four-sided die segment. They were laughing about it.
It was so
But he goes,
funny.
after 8 years of telling you guys this and giving you the resources, you just gotta let people experience the pain once in a while.
Yeah, it
Anyway,
was.
sorry, I didn't.
No, that's funny. I didn't.
That was so
I
freaking funny. I
died
forgot
laughing.
about that. Yeah. So, Trake, Warden, you guys do
Don't
not
roll.
roll for Scry. I roll a Wisdom saving throw, which will be
I know.
Ketharak's roll.
Minus 10.
Okay.
Minus 10 in this regard,
Plus everything else.
plus everything else. So, Trake, you have a DC of 16. You guys both have a DC of 16. So,
Wisdom 16.
here is what we're going to do. I have a pair of die here. After your 10 minutes of casting, he makes 2 wisdom saving throws. These are straight rolls, and he has +2. He needs to roll a 14 or higher on both to succeed. That is a nat 1 on the first, and a 17 on the second. So, I will say that Warden, you cast it first, so you are the one who breaks through, and Trake, since you started just after, he succeeds against your scry.
Because he has your mind on his...
I can't remember if someone succeeds against a scry, or does that make them aware of the fact that they tried to get scryed on?
Let me double check, I believe so.
If I started right after him, could I stop if Warden got it?
So you guys have
You
a
guys
way to defeat
simultaneously did this.
We
So,
simulcast,
you
so-
specifically said you were simultaneously doing this, so no.
Interesting.
Alright.
So, on a successful save, the target is not affected and you cannot use this spell against it for 24 hours. It does not mention that it knows that you attempted to scry on it.
So say, with the exception of a few exceptionally powerful beings, typically gods and demigods, like most of the time.
Yeah.
They're
Or if
all
they have
demigods.
specific spells or items on their person.
I reckon if you tried to scry like something with innate psionic most individuals, like
Alright, the flavor text
98%
is not there.
probably wouldn't know.
So, our target does not know that one of them failed at least.
Yeah. Or that one succeeded.
We're gonna.
Unless they have ability to see invisible things.
And tomatoes. What am I talking about? I'm tired. I'm sorry.
Like true sight?
Because if they can see, if they have true sight and they can see invisible things, then they can see a glowing orb, like 10 floating 10 feet next to Kizrak or whatever his name is. That is in the spell description. It is invisible, and therefore, if you can see invisible things, you can see a floating orb. So now we just have to see whether or not, or Warden has to pay attention to whether or not anyone looks directly at the orb.
I would also like you to make a perception check, Warden.
Cool. Is anyone looking directly at my orb?
As you appear in the room, you appear just behind Ketharak, seemingly in a very, very strange environment. A 12? Okay,
Yes.
let me pull something up real quickly before I begin to describe it. That way I do not speak out of my asshole. So, you find yourself sitting directly above a table with a smattering of spell components. You can't quite tell what they are, as everything aside from Ketharak is pretty blurry, if not completely undiscernible. Looking around, you see a large circular rune on the ground, upon which there are 5 chairs, where Ketharak and 4 Afriti are seated. This is definitely not the back of some coffee shop. Around the room, you see, in fact, a river of flame and lava going through the center of the room, just southwardly of this meeting that has these chairs set up. You see braziers around the room, and other than that, it is nearly just a blur. Over the next 5 minutes, you hear these 5 voices continuing to talk. It seems that they are just getting over frivolities of, how did this go by yesterday? How was this shipment? Were you able to take care of this thing? And it seems that they are just finishing up this. As one of the Afriti, off to the side, begins saying, now to pull up my notes. Well, now that we have finished with our frivolities, are we going to speak about them 15,000 Claudians that are entering in through the harbor this afternoon? You hear Ketharak speak up. Well, I mean, I was expecting us to speak on it at least a little bit. It's one of the biggest shipments of the month. However, I don't know who we wish to take care of it. I had plans on the arches this afternoon. So, who else was willing to take care of this? It's going to take at least a few of us down in the harbor to make sure things go well. I assume you would be willing to go and take care of that, Passat. He seems to be speaking to the one who first spoke about this. Passat kind of continues. Well, I do believe I will go. Kirut. He kind of looks over to the shorter of the Afriti. Would you be willing to accompany me into the harbor this afternoon? It is 15,000 of those beastly folk, and it will take time and energy to rein them in. Kirut speaks up. Yes, I think I'll be able to take care of that. However, early in this evening I have some business I would like to take care of in the furnace, so if we could be done by then. At this point, you hear a booming voice from one of the chairs opposite him. Oh, come on, it won't take you that long. Especially with my carts from Hasserine Estates, it will take nearly no time for us to get that 15,000 out into the wild. Alright, it'll be nearly probably 2 or 3 before we are finished. The last who had not speak at this point, the one covered in chains, as you can see, says, well, alright, I'm assuming I will be taking care of the more dangerous of these folk. You will be bringing one of your heavy-duty carts, won't you, Assat? Yes, indeed I will. I believe I will be going directly home after this and taking care of transport. I will be bringing all my carts to the harbor, and hopefully it will only take us 2 trips to get all 15,000 out to their slaver spots. Alright then, I will prepare some of my guards, and we will get these people out to the Long Castle by early afternoon, hopefully, and we can then work on chaining and interrogation. At this point, Ketharak again speaks up. Alright, well, it's good to know that we all have plans for the afternoon and evening. However, I will again recognize that this is one of the largest shipments of the month. Remember, we are expected to bring in or send out somewhere around 2.8 million gold off of this shipment. We must be very careful. The Sultan has been scrutinizing of our business of late. We have let a few things slip through our fingers. So let's just be careful on this one. Let's not fuck this up, shall we? Passat speaks up. You must not worry about the Sultan. I will take care of him if he continues to put the nose in our business. At this point, you again hear that booming voice. The Sultan surely should put his nose into his own business. We care not for him to integrate himself into business he knows nothing of. Passat speaks up at this point, saying,
Shouldn't they be using his whole name?
they are not in the City of Brass.
Oh. Okay. So only when you're in the City of Brass do you have to use his full name.
We're
Yes.
trying to get it.
It is a technical law in the City of Brass that
Wait,
that must be
So
enacted.
where are they now then? I thought
You have
they
no
were still
clue.
in the City of Brass. Okay.
But you saw them entering into a coffee shop, and they are not in the back of a coffee shop right now.
Gotcha. So
And
they're
we're not here.
teleporting,
We are elsewhere. We're running.
Yes, that's true.
And you two are hearing none of this, and
Yes.
know none of this.
I was more asking.
Yet
for
they are not in another plane of existence.
Well, there is reasoning. It's not just bullshit. I'm not
Yeah,
bullshitting.
yeah, I
There's
got you.
reasons, so trust.
I was like, Zach, I
Well,
need to be
there
hearing
was
the
a
Murak
there was a s-
What did you
there
say?
was a running circle on the floor. They could have quote unquote transported us, but I mean it's
Either
not
way,
working.
at this point, Passat continues. I would watch my words, our dear friend. Remember, while we are not in the city as of now, your heretical tendencies are starting to reach too far. As a Vassar, I must insist that you rein in such language. At that point, Assat says, Brother, there is a reason I do not live in the furnace. I do not care for this. I will speak as I wish when I am not before him. Passat says, all right. I won't be the one who burns beside you if the Sultan is. And you can sense the tension in the room as this conversation continues. Ketharak at this point says, all right, my burning children, let's not squabble anymore. The Sultan is not here, and while we give him the utmost of respect, he again is not here, and he is not the slave masters. That is us. We are the ring of smoldering chains. We are not children to squabble in my quarters. You will calm yourselves. And honestly, we should be getting to work. So, unless there are any further motions to be had, we will end this here. And there are kind of nods and exclamations said about. And from there, everyone else seems to get up and walk across the over a bridge across the river of lava heading south, and they disappear from view. At that point, it is just Ketharak in the room, and you're most of the way through your spell. And Ketharak kind of hops down from his throne. His chair is like legitimately too big for him, and he kind of steps around to the back of the room. As you continue to follow him, go ahead and roll another perception check.
Perception. 22.
22. So as he kind of moves around, your vision around this place clears a little bit. And he kind of steps by a large red room just below a brazier. As he steps over to what looks like a legit furnace in the back of the room, with a set of eyes seemingly staring at Ketharak from above. And he kind of steps below the furnace, and peering inside, you can't quite tell what he's looking at inside this furnace, but he seems almost encapsulated by it. He just can't stop thinking about what's in there. And then at that point, he kind of props himself up on the edge of the furnace and sits down, peering out towards the rest of the room. Well, that was fun. And looks up directly at this invisible portrait, this icon that you are peering through.
Oh my word.
I'm curious as to know why I'm such an interesting figure to you people. I'd be happy to meet and talk. Nothing more. There's a
Do you have
little...
like true sight?
What'd you say?
I wonder if he has like true sight.
There's a little shop, southern area of the plume. I'm assuming you're staying there. You were following me for quite a while, so I'm assuming you're in the plume. There's a little shop. It's just south of the Commoner's Market. Shouldn't be too hard to find. There's a little beacon beside it. A little, orange beacon. A little bit different shade than the rest. I'd be happy to meet and talk with you to find out why you're here. I'll be there sometime this evening around 5 or 6. Just to talk. As I said, I won't bring no illuminated. I'm no fan of them.
What time's the curfew?
Curfew is at 8 to 8:30. So there's time from then. And at that point, he kind of winks. And you notice that there is definitely still time on your spell when he snaps his fingers and your vision in this realm dissipates, as he seems to have dispelled it.
Well, coming to, now that I'm no longer scrying, I relay every little bit of information that happened from beginning to end to the entire party through the Rocky Talkies. And then I'm assuming what's his face is with us. Oh yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
Petrus.
He is with us.
So,
Our NPC friend. I do relay this information to him as well.
Petrus kind of says, well, a heavily magical being, not necessarily unexpected that he's able to sense when he's being scried upon. I'm more intrigued as to why he let you listen to the whole conversation if he knew it was happening. Seems a little...
I rolled a 20 on insight for that.
What?
He
I
wrote
rolled a 20 on insight, not 20.
On what?
on.
I was like, why is he able to see us, and why does he keep not addressing
Okay,
us right
so
when he
so
doesn't
here's why I generally like you to ask me before you
sorry.
roll. Specifically because you did not see any of his body language. You do not see any of how he spoke to the scroll. You are seeing everything in second person, meaning it's pretty much impossible to actually insight this person. That's not necessarily something you can do. You can try, and I mean, I would have let you roll, and the DC, it would have been very, very high. Obviously, you rolled very, very high, so I'm going to give you a little bit of information. But please, do not just roll.
Okay, sorry.
On top of that, your best guess, he's bored.
Okay.
I see.
Like, you have no other reason to think of why a very powerful devil who leads one of the most influential rings of the city of Brass would let people see into and listen in on a meeting talking about one of the biggest business deals, likely of this year. Just willy-nilly. Other than the fact that he's bored.
Well, who all should go? Warden speaks over the Rocky Talkie.
So
Is like, who should we meet him at this shop? What should we do? Should at least some of us go? All of us go, but some are off around the corner.
You would know if people are around the corner.
So, Nari is headed home, and he starts relaying this conversation to you over the walkie while you're running. Is there anything that you were told in that would contradict your concept of getting to your house? Or would we be there
So
because
here's the thing.
it's a 5-minute
I also-
run,
I
and
also
that was
gave-
halfway
I also
through
gave
the
as
spell?
much description as I could as on everyone else in the room.
So-
unless she,
All of that, the description and all of that, happens after you guys reach Hasserine Estates. So to describe Hasserine Estates, it is a fiery inferno of an Auschwitz. It has 30 to 40 foot tall walls built around it. It has multiple large entrances, one of which, the primary one, is open at this time. It doesn't seem to necessarily be a public place, but there is not guards actively at the front door. It's kind
Would I know whether or not it would be safe to walk through?
it's safe to walk through. I mean, dependent upon who you meet inside the courtyard would depend on whether it's safe. But there is no barrier on the door. It's pretty much as if someone left their garage door open to Auschwitz.
Okay, I would have liked to have looked for, I would want to look for either, wait. Sindri Grinholm, cook.
Sindri Grindholm. So that would be
The lady that was
inside.
kind to me.
That would be inside the building. So you would have to make your way into the estates, into the main house, and get to the kitchen. So you guys approach, and just peering in from the front gates, Nari almost doesn't pay attention because she already knows what's there. But inside, you see 4 massive stone-built compounds in here. The whole thing's a compound. So 4 massive stone buildings. These buildings reach somewhere around 100 feet in height. And probably what you can guess, due to where the barred windows are placed, there are probably 4 levels, and they are large. They are what I would consider like warehouse size, like a small warehouse. So maybe, 40 to 50,000 square feet to a building per level. And there are 4 of these, and you hear minor voices inside of them. A lot of voices. Nari, what you remember Hasserine Estates being is a place to cycle maybe a few hundred to 1,000 slaves. This place could probably process well over 25,000 at this point. And you also see what appears to be about a dozen fiery horsemasters. AKA, these are mostly Azers. There's a couple of Hargans in there, and there is one Afreet who is specifically guiding them onto what to do. And they are bringing out these carts drawn by 4 flaming horses. And these carts could probably fit 50 people inside. Imagine, like, cattle trailers. Like those boxed-in trailers pulled by trucks. 4 people. And they're being hooked up and set ready to go for this massive shipment today. And then at the end of this courtyard is a massive manor that is glamorous to say the least. It is pristine in comparison to the other buildings that are rotting away and merely places to hold people for a time. What do you guys do?
I'm riding on her shoulder.
Okay, before I try to visit Sindri, would I think that she would recognize me and or be kind to me? Because she was kind to me as a younger, is usually kinder to
You don't know.
younger slaves. Okay.
You do not know. You know that she was kind to you and would give you extra fixings as a younger child. However, she would be taking said food from other people to give to you. And you only now, as an older woman, recognize that you were getting special treatment. Someone else was going hungry so that you would be well fed. That's
about it.
That's about it. You do not know if she would still be kind to you, but she is definitely one of the people that you see best.
Where would my mother have slept? Where would me and my mother have slept?
So you and your mother slept inside a special place in the manor, which was still pretty much a slave's quarter, but at least better looking, better kept.
Would we be able to get in and out of that easier? Would that, like,
So-
as opposed to like walking in the front door, obviously.
Well, you have to go through the front gate. No, pretty much no matter what, unless you tried to climb the wall on the outside.
We've walked through the front gate. We have the 2 buildings, the people getting things. Going into the main building, is that easier with her knowledge, or is it just walk through the front door of the mansion?
Like,
It
would I know
depends.
of an easier way to get
So,
through that would be more discreet?
Front gate, you only ever came in and out the front gate. Like, you...
Yeah, we walked through the
The
front gate.
only time you ever left not through the front gate was the time your mother blindfolded you as she took you from the place and sold you to the traders. So you do not know of... You could search for them. You could search around the back walls and try and find a place. Or just try to climb the wall closer to the manor to get in a back door.
No, we walk through the gate. We have the 4 buildings.
I think he's
in
saying
the
there's
manor.
another gate. Is there another
Is there
gate
another-
to the manor as opposed to the estates?
We're in.
No, so there is
we
the
walked-
compound.
We're in the compound.
Yeah, there are 3
We
gates to
walked
the compound.
into the
2 are closed, 1 is open.
We walk in.
You guys
We've
step
already
in.
walked. We've stepped in. We've already stepped in. The question is, now that we've stepped in,
How hard is
With-
it to get inside the manor?
with her knowledge,
So, it's not necessarily that it's going to be hard, it's just more visible. So you can go around the side and try and sneak or go even behind the other compounds. However, those are patrolled. If you go straight through the middle, I mean, those people setting the carriages will see you. It's just dependent upon whether they will care or whether you will act stout enough to be like, I am supposed to be here.
Nibs is going to lean over, pat you on the shoulder, and say, "Walk with pride, my darling. Walk with pride." And I'm going to hit you with bless and myself also one last time. Walk right up the middle. Just
Okay.
walk in.
I will have you guys both roll performance checks.
Add the D4.
Add the d4. Do you want to roll this d4 for
I
you
would
guys?
love to roll a D4.
Wait, do you have to roll it or do I need to roll it too?
You guys can both roll 1.
Damn, I can't roll more shit.
Well, that's a 3. Is that a 3?
Yeah, it's a 3.
3.
Because
That's
that
10.
die is the one that points up.
And you said performance, which I have 0 in charisma. So, 10.
So 10, Nari,
8.
8.
Wow, we're fucked.
Okay, so as you guys begin walking through
But it makes
this,
sense.
I mean, it's either performance or stealth. Those were your
It
options.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
As you kind of step through, you see the person that you thought was an Efreet from range is actually just a fire genasi. A tall one who has a flaming whip in hand as he is whipping behind the horses to have them drag the carriages around.
Assuming that's our kick.
This would be what you remember as Harkick. Harkick Sinchel. And as you kind of step through the front area of the estate, he kind of turns back. This must be the start of some kind of bad joke. Fire Genasi, a kobold, walk into a slave compound. Who are you?
She just starts uncontrollably giggling.
She just starts. Nari's just.
Okay, I'd like to do an insight on Nari.
Um,
Is she gonna freeze up like this
Damn.
in reality, or is she gonna have an answer? Or are you gonna?
For Harkek, she'll have an answer.
Okay.
For some other people here,
Okay.
yeah.
So whatever she thinks of, that's fine. Okay, because that's all I want to know. If I think for an instant I'm gonna baffle them with bullshit.
Okay, well, you're welcome to still try and do so.
No, if this is someone she's gonna get, if she has something to say, then that's fine. Unless she's-
So, Nari.
I really don't know.
At this point, he's kind of stepping over to you guys.
yeah.
He's kind of leaving the rest of the Azers and the few Harden
not know?
to continue
I really have no fucking
Okay.
idea.
to continue with the carriages.
Nibs is gonna kind of chuckle and go, "That's a good one." He says, "It would be a good joke." He says, "But to believe it or not, the truth is gonna be a whole lot more fucking hilarious."
Oh yes, I would love to hear. However, this is personalized property. This is private land. That gate is open so that we can leave here momentarily.
He's, Nibs is gonna smile and go, "Aye." Yes. So now,
Give me
crap,
one reason that I shouldn't call the Illuminati.
Before I was about to answer that, but I gotta know something that Nibs would know. I know they can smell.
The Illuminated can.
The Illuminated could smell the thing of that, but is in this culture it possible for someone who was a slave to not be a slave anymore?
Yes.
Okay. Then
It is, just like in Dairn, it's technically indentured servitude. However,
Okay.
there are so many itty-bitty rules that slaves have to follow that it is impossible to follow all of them. And each infraction, which can be as simple as not
this guy-
speaking to this person in this proper tone of voice, is another year on your...
he's like, but we do have the proper paperwork for her to not be a slave anymore. She's on the books. It's like, we've got a couple indentured. He's like, here, he goes, and here's the best part. It's like, we're curious of the status of a friend of ours who used to be here last we knew. That's all we're, and he's like, to find out the status of. To see if she's not already dead or sold to someone else, maybe see about buying what's left of her time. That is Nib's
And that's
insight.
actually pretty.
That is Nib's insight into her. She has
Pretty
not
accurate.
told me a lot, but that's my insight based off of his history.
Yeah. It is quite curious, however, that still does not give you the right to be here right now. That means you have a reason, but not the right. You could have attempted to schedule a time to come see, which would again cost money. We are a very busy business.
Understandable. That's why we stepped in, because, be honest, we're only here on a visit from one of the other planes, and I don't know where your secretary's office is. So where would we go to figured step in, find out someone in charge? They could point us to who we need to set up an appointment with.
At this point, you guys all hear a door close as the door to the manor has been opened and someone has walked out. Nari, you look over, and I would like you to roll a wisdom saving throw as you see Andreas Tinfra.
Yeah.
Nibs, to you simply see a normal human woman. She has a black robe around her at this point. She has jet black hair. And she is stepping out.
I rolled a 10.
10.
For a saving throw.
Begin to clam up. You.
Steady, darling. Steady. Oh, you've got blessed, so add a d4.
You can add a d4 to that. That might change this.
13.
13. You do not freeze up, but you're very, very nervous. As you remember Andreas as the one who would often give you your proceedings and say whether you were to be beat or whipped, and oftentimes the one to carry it out on your mother when she would accept the punishment for you. As she steps out, we're gonna go ahead and end it there, as it is 8.
I forgot I had guidance. And I'm literally sitting on her.
Yeah. And so we will begin next session with Nibs and Nari's, and about this time is what you guys just hear in your head.
Unfortunately, it's Nari. 'Cause I don't have it. Nari,
So I'm like trying to deal with all of this shit.
Oh, all right.
And so
Thank
that
you,
is
guys.
we will pick up next week with you guys possibly bargaining your way into Hasserine Estates and trying with the 15 to 20 minutes you have before Assad returns
All we need
to figure out what's going on inside Hasserine Estates.
if her mother is there, that's the first one. I hope we have enough money to get an answer on a particular. 2, we have the paperwork to say you're free. However,
That doesn't mean, well,
it doesn't.
Well, you guys do not have the paperwork, but the paperwork is readily available.
the paperwork.
but that also doesn't mean that that's what the people who run the estates will remember.
It's like,
It depends on how their
Yeah.
memory is, really.
yeah, and I really wish I had any charisma, but I don't.
Right, yeah. With you there. Okay.
A pair of evenly charismatic creatures
Trying to
into a
riz their
place.
way into some
trying to riz their way into a place.
We
We're gonna end recording
Y'all
there.
got that tism, Riz.